Welcome to the Prescott Home Value Report through September 2023, brought to you by the Prescott Pickle Lady, Diane Bro, Realtor. As you can probably tell, I am not the Pickle Lady. That's me in the bottom right-hand corner. My name is Randall. I am the Pickle Lady's digit head. She brings me out once a month from the dungeon to show you these slides. As always, starting with our pricing in Prescott, the city of Prescott. This is median sales price per square foot. And as you can see, we are still neck and neck with last year. Blue is last year, red is this year. And so looking at this September compared to last September, negative 1%. That's probably a rounding error up. I mean, those two look pretty neck and neck to me. It's been that way for a few months now. So our prices are looking really good. Not so much on the transaction side. So this is the number of transactions that occurred, that's closings that occurred in the month of September this year versus last year. We hit our volumes have been going, at one point we're pushing 40% lower than last year. Then it got into the 30s, then the 20s. And since May, we've been running neck and neck. I was kind of expecting that again this month, but nope. We headed south. So whereas last year we had a little over 120 homes, it was 123. We had less than 100 this September. So that is a 23% gap. So we've lost volume. I'll show you inventory in a bit. But our prices are very stable. Turning now to PV, kind of a different story. PV is still running a little lower than we were last year. This is price per square foot. Within 3% of last year. We're running a little bit lower consistently, about the same distance. Last month we kind of popped up. I was kind of expecting we'd pop back down. We did a little bit. So we're showing negative 3% appreciation from last year, but volumes we're looking well. That's about a 30% over last year in terms of volume. We had kind of been running at a deficit, and then last month we went out ahead of last year, and we did that again this last month. We did the same thing this month. Be interesting to see what happens next month, because last year we had a nice little spike. So we'll see if we have a little red spike here next month. So you may ask yourself, does that mean if we are looking at a buyer's market, seller's market? Well, to answer that question, we use something called the pending ratio analysis. So we are back in the city of Prescott. There are 569 homes on the market. Of those, 93 of them are already pending. 93 is 16% of 569, so our pending ratio is 16%. If you look up 16%, our handy-dandy colored chart here, it'll tell you that 16% corresponds to a strong buyer's market. And it's been that way for a while. I think last month was 19. Now the pending ratio actually went down a bit. Our inventory is completely flat. I think last month it was 568. So our inventory is just holding steady. Breaking things out by price point tells a little bit of a different story. So each one of these blue bars is the number of homes sold. So you can see very little going on, 100s, 200s. You get to 300s. Looks like we've got about 20 homes and a little over 50 in the 400s and so on. The red dots here, that's the pending ratio for homes in that price point. Typically, we see a downward trend in this line, if you will. Generally, the lower the price point, the more of a seller's market it is. As we get to the higher and higher price points, it becomes more of a buyer's market. You kind of see that starting in, 200s, you're not really a whole lot going on there, but from the 300s, 400s, 500s, and then the 600s pop up. We've been seeing that for a while, kind of a weirdo thing going on. And the 600s, less of a buyer's market than in the 500s and the 700s. And then things just kind of flatten out for the rest of this curve till we get to a million plus. that is an extreme buyer's market. Homes are taking about 5 months now to get to contract. That's on average 5 months. In part, that's because of the lower volume, right? We had basically the same amount of inventory, but now we're at a lower volume. So at that lower volume, instead of 4 months, I think it was 3.9 last month, it's taking an extra month to burn through that inventory. So we're at 5 months now on average. As I said, strong seller's market. Escrow has been running about a month. That is typical. Turning now to Prescott Valley. Prescott Valley's pending ratio is 28%. They've been kissing right along this 30% mark, which is the difference between a buyer's market and a balanced market. They're just under that bar at 28. So it is a buyer's market, not an extreme one at all. Pretty close to being balanced. This figure went up, I want to say like 15 homes. I think we were 280s or something like that last time. So inventories, again, are kind of stable. Breaking things out by price point, again, not anything really kind of going in hundreds and 200s. And in PV, once you get to about the 900s, 800s, they get very few homes out there at those price points. So we don't really have enough of a denominator for these for you to read a whole lot into these numbers, but you do kind of see the pattern I mentioned before, where the higher the price point, the more of a buyer's market it is, except for the 700s. A lot of demand in the 700s in PV. So we saw the bump in the 600s in Prescott. There's a bump in the 700s in PV. Again, we've been seeing that same sort of pattern month to month. There's something going on in that price point that's just a little different. Homes are taking 2.7 months to sell, 1.1 months in escrow, 3.7 overall. That is, I think, exactly the same numbers that we had last time. All right, so our highlights. Prescott prices are up 6% over last month, but they were up even faster last year, so our year-over-year is negative 1%. Prices are down 2% from last month in PV, year-over-year at negative 3%. Prescott volumes are down 23% from last year, but up 32% in PV from last year. Right now, Prescott is at a 16% pending ratio, which is a strong buyer's market. PV at 28 is a buyer's market, marginally. So homes are going under contract in about 5 months in Prescott, 2.7 months in PV.
Look, if you like this kind of stuff, we got lots more for you in the Prescott Home Value Report. This is just a summary. We go into specific subdivisions and just a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of slicing and dicing. So I would encourage you to download that report and get it in full. We update this report every month, but it is not the only report we do. We also have what we call the Appraiser's Eye View, which is the last 6 months of the latest comps. And it's broken out by subdivision. In fact, Prescott Lakes, we break it out by neighborhood. So it's very, very detailed. This is an example of what you'll see in the chart. This would be a subdivision. It is sorted by price per square foot, the number of months that it took the home to sell, square footage, the year it was built, how many stories, how many acres, and whether the listing agent is reporting the home having a view or not. Using this, you can look at all the different comps that occurred. You can see the average down here. So using this, it's a really good tool to figure out what you should be paying for a home, or where you might want to price a home that you are selling. So a really cool tool. We even have a video which goes through how to use this information to come up with value estimates for homes.
We do a whole lot of tools like this, all of them really very cool for both buyers and sellers. And one thing I should point out is you can't get these from any place else. These are exclusive. You can only get them from the Prescott Pickle Lady.
And all of this is part of our page. We call it Prescott by the Numbers, or more commonly, the Pickle page. So if you're on the Pickle page, you know the Pickle page. But if you're not the Pickle page, well, you should get to the Pickle page. And you do that by subscribing. We update it every month. If you subscribe, we will send you a monthly email update with the link so you can go download all the reports that you want. Even if you're not all that interested in getting every single month, just having access to these tools will give you a real leg up when it comes to the real estate game. I hope you found this informative and maybe slightly entertaining, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Please take a moment to look below and find the button that'll take you to the Pickle page. We'll see you there.